Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And I am back. Last week I did not go live because I was helping out with a party that my mosque was hosting at a park in one of the suburbs, and I stayed till it was done and I helped with cleanup, and of course then it started to get stormy, so we had to be ready to haul tail out of there. So I am bringing the feed up on my tablet so I can see the chat easier. I had to skip the ads like usual. So I'm showing both bags, but the thumbnail is the feature. That is the 2B bag. I just have items stuffed in here just to kind of fill out the 2A bag. So I have that one set off to the side. And I have my Tupperware tray out because the entree, being freeze-dried, it will produce a good amount of food. I see spicy tuna rolls as swimming from the ocean. So I'm going to go ahead and show what I got in the bag. This M&M's. They feel like powder. And this has a standard military date code. This one was done in 1995. And this is the second iced tea. I said last time that I'm interested in trying that one hot. Then I have the apple cider drink powder. We'll see if that is decent enough to prepare. This is a nut and raisin mix, and it is a huge portion. This is the brownie chocolate covered. A few years ago, I was sent one of these from Emily from across the pond, and it was not edible, but it'll still be cool to look at it. And then there are two of these. Oatmeal cookie bar and the granola bar. They're both compressed, put together. And then this is the entree, the chicken a la king, and noodles. It's in a slightly different packaging. But down the bottom it says Oregon freeze dry. Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad. Welcome. Thanks for dropping in. Kenneth is here. And this is packed in 1996. So I'm going to put all these other items aside because these freeze-dried items take up a good amount of time to rehydrate. Actually, I need to go get something from my kitchen, which will make it just a little bit easier to get into that. I got a pair of scissors to cut this open because the tear notch is way down here, but the top of this is above it. So I'm going to cut right below the seal. Actually, I might not have cut low enough. I'm going to try that again. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and use the 2B bag as my trash bag. Curious Pete is here. Thanks for dropping in. Now, what Oregon freeze dry, which we now know as Mountain House, is done. They layered this. Hardly any discoloration, and what they have here, they got two of these cardboard pieces. This is just single layered, not double like that experimental LRP I did a few weeks ago. This is what the Chicken a la King looks like. I'm not getting much of a smell off of it, but I'm leaving the foil bag or the outer pouch underneath this, and then I grab this clip to close off this clear bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hot water in here, stir that up, close that up, and then I will get into opening everything else. I took the kettle back into the kitchen. Because I want to keep that water hot just in case I have to go back for it. I'm going to get this out of the way. And this is that instant tea. Had two of these. Last time I had this cold. And I am cheating with the scissors. Family compound is here. Just checking to see who else is here. And this is apple cider. I'm going to open the packet this way. It definitely smells a little tart. And it's a little lighter in color than I thought it would be. Here's a close-up of that. I'm hoping this will clear up as it settles and as this dissolves. It's already starting to darken. So it looks closer to an apple juice color. Now I'm going to bring my delicious mug. Sorry about that. I'm going to go back, get the kettle from the kitchen so I can pour the water into the tea. I am back. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen. That dissolves really fast in the boiling water. A little bit of a and this is from 1996. These cookie bars were packed in 1995. This time I will use a tear notch. See if we get hiss off of it. I didn't hear hiss. I don't know if the mic picked it up, but James Carroll is here. Thanks for dropping in. These are not individually wrapped. They're stuck together. And got two pairs of these. I believe this dark one might be the granola bar. And this one might be the oatmeal cookie bar. I could be wrong. This is the huge portion of the nut raisin mix. It says 108 grams. And as a comparison, I brought in a nut raisin mix from a recent MRE. .3 ounces or 66 grams. So that is the weight of this one here that was packed more recently. This one was packed in 2019. And this packed in 1996. So 108 grams, that is not quite double the amount of the more contemporary one. And this one was vacuum sealed. The current one is not. And this one did not open very well, so I'm going to cheat with it. There's going to be a whole lot of cheating in this one. In fact, the seal is the tear notch was above. There we go. I had to cut a little lower. Nope. Looks like the raisins were separated from the nuts, and they don't smell too good. The raisins are all in one big mass. And some of the nuts are embedded into the raisins. So I don't know if that one will be edible or not. I seriously doubt it, but if that's the case, they're not edible, I'll just dig into this one. Now this brownie chocolate covered was packed in 1996. The way these date codes work is the first digit denotes the year, and then the other three, the day in the year. So this is the 51st day of 1996 was when this particular cookie, this brownie bar was packed. And it is going to go right there. I'm just going to lean it on top of that nut raisin packet. And for those just coming in, this is part 2 of this 1996 Ration cold weather review. So I'm into bag 2B. Some of the components were in, this is 2A, which had the breakfast and the lunch and some of the other items. There was a spoon in each one of these bags, but of course I'm not using that. I brought some additional backup plans in case some of these other things are not edible. I want the main to sit a little while longer. I decided to go back into my kitchen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this into here. I'll give you a better look at that. I'm not smelling anything rancid off of that. And I'm just gonna set that off to the side. There's M&M's from 1995. They're pretty much powder. I chose to dump them into this cup. It does not smell good. It would be very hard to eat that, so I'm not even going to bother. So I'm setting that out of my way because I don't want to deal with it. So in lieu of that, I brought in another candy. But these are chocolate covered toffees. These are packed in 2021. This bag has not leaked. That is just from the heat. Some of the liquid kind of seeped down underneath this cardboard into where these folds are attached to that cardboard, so I'm not going to be able to get all of that out. That's okay. Just had a nice lick from my long spoon. And it tastes pretty darn good. That is a close-up of, there's a noodle on top. That's like al dente. A little bit of chicken rehydrated very well. The noodle bits are made small so that it would match the size of everything else. It would all rehydrate at pretty much the same rate. There's carrots in here. There's a little bit with the carrot. There's corn. Pepper for the ages is here. Thanks for dropping in. So I'm very happy with this main. This turned out really darn good. I think there's even mushroom in here. That is a nice main. This should be in retail packaging now so that people can go into the physical store or an online store and buy this chicken a la king so that they can take it camping or on a hike, or just to have as an emergency meal. I'm very happy with that. And this is the instant lemon tea. This ration had 2 of these 2 weeks ago. I drank the first one cold. That lemon flavor comes out even more hot. But it's a nice lemon tea. Not too sweet, just enough to notice it's there. And the nut raisin mix. This is probably over 3 ounces. There's almonds, hazelnut, peanut, and a walnut. See, there is a walnut piece. I'm actually not getting too much of a smell, but the way that the nuts stuck to the raisins, I'm not sure that this would even be edible, and a lot of the peanuts got really crushed. So I'm not even going to mess with that. And this is the M&Ms, packed in 1995. It really doesn't smell like chocolate candy. So I brought in these chocolate toffees that I have never seen before in an Emery item. I got this in one of the loose component lots that I bought off eBay. This has really dark spots in it. This is the other pair of these bars. No ingredients. Packed in 1995. These are not double wrapped. So if one of these is rancid because of any nuts in it, both of them might be. Then one is a cereal bar, like an oatmeal cookie bar, and then the other is a granola bar. I'm thinking this might be the oatmeal cookie bar. I gotta go back for another bite of this. That is a nice chicken a la king. It definitely beats the Swanson chicken a la king, but I'm still happy to have that in my stash. This is the chocolate covered brownie bar. It does not smell like chocolate at all. It feels waxy. I think it's going to be the same shape as the one that was sent to me a few years ago, along with a fruit soup from another Ration cold weather menu. That fruit soup was awesome. So this brownie bar may not be edible, but I'm going to take a very slight test nibble off of this cookie bar. I get the sugar that's on the outside. I'm not getting any of that rancid feeling that you get when you bite into something that's rancid, that numbness or anything like that. I just picked up a hint of cinnamon. There's not a whole lot of flavor to it other than the cinnamon and the sweet. I just had a drink of the apple cider. That tastes really good. I like that. That apple cider drink is a good one. Now this is the one that may have gone south, this granola bar. I'm not sure if those black dots are rancid nuts or raisins. But this little corner right here that looks like it's kind of bulged out a little bit, I'm going to take my test nibble there. Yep, that is definitely a granola bar. But the taste, it doesn't taste like a modern granola bar. I'm moving these toffees out of the way of it. Because I don't know if there's nuts in here, raisins. I don't think I'm going to go any farther with it. I'm going to take another drink of that cider. I did not get that numbness in my mouth, but then the taste, I don't think, yeah, I just don't want to go any farther with it in case I get into a rancid nut. I keep going back to this chicken a la king. This stuff is so dang good. I'm so happy that I was able to make a trade with Oscar Ruiz, a guy in one of the Ration groups I'm in on Facebook. And this particular menu sounded like it'd be right up my alley. I'm not seeing any movement in chat, so I don't know if the chat is frozen or if people are just feeding their own faces. So far my feed looks to be fine when I'm looking at it on my tablet. And I don't have too much of a delay in between my action and how it shows up on my tablet screen, so maybe the upgrade that Mediacom did around here is actually working. I just keep going back to this chicken a la king. I'm loving it. This tray that I'm using, I got back in 1983 when my high school class had one of our many fundraisers to get money together so we could take a senior trip in the spring of 1984. And one of those fundraisers that we had was a Tupperware party. So anyone in the school who had money, or kids would get money from parents, because we publicized it. If a parent wanted something and they could not come, the kid could go ahead and buy that item. And I bought this tray along with a couple of pieces for my mom, because she was an avid Tupperware collector and still owns a few of her vintage pieces. I bought her a plastic fillable rolling pin that you fill with water to the desired weight that you want for the amount of pressure that you would put onto the dough that you're rolling, and a rolling mat that had several diameters of circle sizes, and you could use that as a template or guide for rolling out a pizza crust or a pie crust or something like that, and you wanted to achieve a specific diameter circle, then you could roll your dough on that mat and get that particular size that you wanted. And at other times we go to bingo halls and they would have Tupperware items as prizes, so I would get a bingo, I would go select Tupperware items for my mom. So that's how I kind of supported her Tupperware habit. I just refreshed the chat on my tablet just to make sure that everything is showing up for me, and I'm just, I don't know if they're not chatting or what. I see 4 watching, so thanks for sticking around, those who are still here. I hope that you all find this enjoyable as much as I am. That's right. I face you, brother. Hit that like. Or if you hit the thumbs down, it doesn't matter. Either one is an interaction. And these interactions help the channel creators. And this is the lemon tea like I had 2 weeks ago, but I made it hot this time. the orange drink that I wanted to have last time was just not good, so I used the other instant tea cold. And tonight I want to try the apple cider mix, and it is good. I like it. I have another cocoa powder that came in this ration, the one that I made 2 weeks ago. It started out okay, but it just got funky and it just was not palatable. Plus I have another cocoa powder that was packed on the same day that was sent in a box of goodies along with another orange drink powder. I don't know if I will keep them as they are or actually attempt to make them and try them. I haven't decided on that. Yeah, the same with the other pair of these two cookie bars. I don't know if I will open them up and try them, maybe off camera. There is a bit of an oiliness to this cookie bar, but I'm not getting that rancid sensation. So this one seems to have held up very well. And like the current oatmeal cookies, there's a hint of cinnamon, which I really like. This is a granola bar. I'll show it again. It has dark spots, which I have no idea if they are raisins or nuts. It's got that same kind of shine as the oatmeal cookie bar. No ingredients on the packet, so I have no idea. I'm gonna actually break it open so you can see what a cross section looks like. I'm actually not getting much of a smell off of it. I'm not sure what to make of that. Now that I have busted it open, here is where I broke it. There is that dark spot. I'll pull my finger back. And I can't tell if that is a raisin or a nut. But on the inside, it does look like a granola bar, just highly compressed. I think these orange bits might be bits of cheese in there. And I think that is bits of cheese, those the light orange bits, when compared to the color of the carrot. I just can't get enough of this chicken a la king. I just want to sit here and feed my face. This ration had one coffee. It was the Red Packet Taster's Choice. And back in the day, those, when they were fresh, they were probably really good, but those packets never held up very well over time. And about 98% of the time, when you get those packets, the coffee has gone bad. I've had 2 of those be perfect. And then there's a brown packet, same style, but just brown instead of red. A lot of those would go bad as well, and you really couldn't drink it because it would not look right, it would not taste right, it would not smell right. So that's why 2 weeks ago I opted for the cocoa mix, but that one did not turn out as well as I had hoped it would. Would the other packet have held up? Who knows? Jory's Game Bites, welcome. Thanks for dropping in. From 1996, this is menu 2, bag B. Bag A would have breakfast items, some of the lunch items. You could also take from bag B if you wanted to. There was a brown emery style spoon in each bag. And I have already put those away in my bag of plastic spoons, which I save for emergency use, for a time when I may have to severely restrict my water use and not wash utensils like these. I will go to my disposables. That's where those would come in. This one had a slightly larger accessory packet with the coffee, sugar, creamer, 2 rear rolls, the wet wipe, and that was, I've already got all those items put away. It also had a book of matches in it. This is the 2A bag. This is what the cocoa drink powder packet looks like. This is the orange drink powder packet. Thermal pack is still in business. Transpackers is still in business. And on the cookie bars, Sterling Foods, still going at it. Transpackers. This is the modern nut raisin mix. Not quite half the quantity of the 1995 or 96 version. And that one was probably designed to be an in-between meal snack, where you would eat part of it at one meal and then you'd pocket the remainder and eat it later in the day. Because this is a cold climate ration, which predates the MCW or meal cold weather, which is the single meal version, which came into production a few years after these RCWs. You get more calories, and with this one you had 2 pairs of these bars. You had a candy. Again, this is M&M's. Yeah, they're completely kaput. This is the nut raisin mix that I emptied out into this bowl. I have a strong suspicion that these nuts may be rancid, so I really don't want to even taste the raisin. But I put it in here to show you how much was in that bag. It said 106 grams. It didn't have the ounces, but this one being 66 grams, not quite double this. 2.3 ounces. That's probably like 5, maybe 4 ounces total, I'm guessing. And because the M&Ms have pretty much gone to dust, this chocolate the chocolate toffees I kind of ripped the top off. Of that, but that's what these are. You know, the M&Ms were not wrapped inside of another. They're not wrapped inside of another packet like that. So here is the nut raisin packet. You can see the discoloration on the inside from the raisins. The peanuts and walnuts coated with edible shellac. So some kind of a treatment put on those in trans packers. 1996. Now the M&Ms are not put into anything other than the original bag that came from the supplier. This oatmeal cookie bar. I'm glad this one is edible. It's nice. Probably doesn't taste anywhere as good as it was when it was fresh, but it's perfectly fine. Quite dense, but not hard. They're easy to chew. Even this granola bar is the same way. It'd be dense, but not so hard that you can't bite into it and chew it. I bet soldiers probably dip the bars in their coffee or in their hot chocolate, or if they made the tea hot like I did tonight, probably dipped them in that. It probably had the oatmeal, which I prepared last time, along with the soup, which would have been the lunch. I probably could have had a pair of these bars with their breakfast. Or they could have picked whatever they wanted to eat at the time, or what their time allowed for them. And no wet pack foods in these rations, because you take a retort pouch outside and the temperature is like 10 below Fahrenheit, or who knows what it is, Celsius, and that thing is exposed to the cold for long enough, it's going to be a brick. So having freeze-dried and dehydrated foods, and foods like this, where you don't have to worry about it freezing up to the point of not being edible, it would require water. But if you had the time to boil up some water that you had in your canteen, or you melted snow, that's what you did in order to prepare these. And the white packaging was designed to be camouflaged in the snow, although the meal cold weather, or MCW today, only the outer bag is white. The rest of the packaging, this color or this color. And the more recent menus, instead of a package this color for the main entree that Mountain House produced, they have gone with what is called the Mountain House Pro Pack, and it is the retail package that you could go into a store or go online to buy. I have not gotten a hold of a newer production of an MCW, and I do hope to get some of those in the near future. But other reviewers have opened up the newer MCWs, and the main is just loose in the bag, and then everything else is sealed up inside of another bag. And then that bag with the other items just gets put into the ration bag. But I have always wanted to get a hold of one of these ration cold weathers. And thanks to Oscar Ruiz, guy on Facebook. He does not do YouTube reviews, but he opens things up and shows pictures, and he describes his reaction to a ration. So I sent him 3 2024 MREs, the ones that I do not eat because I do not eat pork. So I sent him pepperoni pizza, the maple flavored sausage patty, and Italian sausage. I sent him those 3 menus, plus a few items produced here in Iowa that I bought from a local Hy-Vee store. I thought he would enjoy a little taste of something from Iowa. So I sent him some beef jerky made in Amana. I sent him a bottle of Big Daddy's mild barbecue sauce, and a Twin Bing, a chocolate covered candy that has a strawberry or a cherry flavored nougat type filling inside. So I sent him one of those. They're made in Sioux City, Iowa. Now, Big Daddy's sauces are made right here in Des Moines. And I got to know Big Daddy himself because when I worked at a Walgreens, he used to come into that store near closing to buy what he needed to after he got done with his time at the restaurant, the barbecue place. So that's how I got to know him that way. And he was a big giver in the community. He used to sponsor Thanksgiving dinners for those who could not afford to buy even a whole chicken to have for Thanksgiving. So he used to sponsor these giveaways. But after he died, the family decided they wouldn't be able to keep the restaurant going, but they keep the hot sauce brand going. So that's what they do. So this is my second trade with another Ration lover. I traded with another reviewer. He sent me way more than I sent him. Sean Hack, I sent a British ORP pasta bolognese that have pork in it, and I sent a Spanish B2 ration. Unfortunately, the cans took a bit of damage. I had no idea they would be that bad. But he still enjoyed looking at it. He did eat some of it he did not, because like one of the cans was just too compromised. He didn't want to risk it. And I sent him another item that contains pork. I forget what that one was, but he sent me so much more. I feel like I owe him. But that was the first trade I did with anyone. I bought stuff off of others, and sometimes others just send me things. So now I've done 2 trades, and I hope to do some more. These apple cider drinks from that time, they need to come back. This is that good. I'm going to go ahead and break this thing open. Oh, it broke up into several pieces. That is the inside of that brownie bar. Outside, very waxy. It does not smell good at all. A little bit of the chocolate residue I just licked off my fingers. Does not taste like chocolate at all. So, no, that's no go. I don't even want to take a bite of it. Which is a shame because it would be nice to get one of these that is edible. And Old Smoky knows the feeling about that. He's tried to get a hold of these older things in pristine condition that would be edible. But as time goes on, it's harder and harder to get a hold of these older rations that are still in good condition. There's one ration type that I'd love to get, a U.S. ration type, and that is a complete MCI, Meal Combat Individual. They're produced up to probably like late 70s, maybe 80, like the 50s up to maybe 1980. They predated the brown bag MRE. I had 2 cans. One was a B2 from an MCI that had crackers and cocoa mix. That cocoa mix that came out of that can was perfect. It was delicious. I loved it. The crackers, it tasted like they were fresh. You know, kind of like a mini version of a pilot cracker. Not quite as big around as the inside of the mouth of my drinking jar. And then I had a bread can, which would have been issued separately to the soldier in addition to the MCI ration box. Unfortunately, all I got to do was look at that bread. I tried to test nibble, and it had already gone bad. It had stuck to the inside of the can, but nevertheless, it was still very neat to look at those 2 pieces of U.S. ration history. Maybe one of these days I'll be able to find an MCI that's in relatively decent shape. I took a drink of the apple cider after eating a bite of that cookie bar. That flavor combo works. That's all I got left of me, and I will polish that off. Now, welcome, Daggers. This is a 1996 Ration cold weather, an Arctic or cold climate ration that was issued back in the 90s before the current meal cold weather. This was a 24-hour ration. It came in 2 bags. This is 2B for menu 2. And then this is the A bag, which contained breakfast and lunch and some other items. Two weeks ago, I reviewed the breakfast and lunch portions, the oatmeal, the chicken soup. This is chicken a la king, or what's left of it. This is a chocolate covered brownie bar, which is not edible. M&Ms, but this is what they look like. I poured them into this cup. And this is the nut raisin mix. I'm not sure if even the raisins are edible, considering they've been in with these nuts, which are most likely rancid, especially the walnuts. And then this is an oatmeal cookie bar, and it has a hint of cinnamon. This is really good. There are 2 of these instant lemon tea packets. 2 weeks ago, I made this 1 packet cold. Now I made it hot. The lemon flavor comes out more when you make it hot. This is apple cider. This is really good. There's an orange drink packet, but when I opened that one 2 weeks ago, that one, it did not look like an orange drink powder. It looked like it would be something like an instant tea or the apple cider, because it was really, really brown. A lot darker in color than the powder that this was mixed from. So I opted for one of the 2 instant tea packets, so that was my cold drink. The coffee was not usable. It had already gone to crap. One of the 2 cocoa mixes, I mixed that one up, and it was a bit funky, so I had a couple of drinks of it. Nope, no more of that. It came with 2 of those cocoa mixes. This is a granola bar, but I can't tell if these black bits are raisins or rancid nut. So I took a tiny test nibble, but I have not tried to eat any more of this granola bar. These are chocolate toffees, which I pulled out of my stash. They were packed in 2018. And they came in this packet here. This came in a box of loose items that I got one of the loose ration items I got on eBay. I bought several lots of those. And then the nut raisin mix. This is 2.3 ounces. This is the modern one, though packed in 2019. The mix in the bowl, that was probably 4 ounces worth. And it was vacuum sealed, but I'm still hesitant to even try a raisin from that. And because the M&Ms look like this, they smell funky. They don't stink, but they smell like this does. It's just a funky smell, has no chocolate smell whatsoever. But this Chicken a la King, which is freeze dried by the company that we now know as Mountain House, awesome. Well, that'll do for that, man. That was a really good entree. Mountain House needs to dig up that recipe, put it back on the retail market so that everyone can enjoy it. I am going to take these brownie bits, put them in that mug with the M&Ms, M&M dust I should say. Open up one of these toffees. This is chocolates. If you can see that now that the wrapper is opened up. Not quite like a Tootsieroll flavor. It's like a dark chocolate on the outside and more of a milk chocolate on the inside. Oh no, I read the date code wrong. This is 2021 pack. These chocolate toffees. Waffles is here. Thanks for dropping in. I finished off the chicken a la king. That was absolutely awesome. Mountain House needs to bring that recipe back into production and make it available to the general public. This is a nut raisin mix. That was in the ration. I'm too overly cautious. I don't want to even taste the raisin out of this because the nuts are rancid despite them being vacuum sealed. They smell. They don't smell funky or they don't smell bad. But this is a raisin that had a piece of peanut stuck to it. They are still pliable. That raisin itself has almost no smell. So maybe we'll go ahead and take a test nibble of this raisin. Nope. That does not taste like a raisin. It tastes like a super old nut. It tastes like... It also tastes like it's been fermented. I need another bite of that oatmeal cookie bar and a swig of the apple cider to get rid of that. These chocolate toffees are my substitute for the M&Ms, which is the dust underneath these pieces of that chocolate covered brownie. They both have the same smell. I don't want any part of those. This is a granola bar, and it's got these dark black spots, which I don't know if they're raisins or rancid nuts. I broke it apart. That's what it looks like on the inside. I took a test nibble off of a corner, but that had no flavor in it whatsoever. This is the other part of it. No ingredients on the packet that these two bars are in. They're just stuck in there side by side and vacuum sealed. No additional wrapping to separate them. There are two pairs of these bars. These are packed in 1995. Yeah, waffles, we were in the 90s today. Yesterday it got up to 97. Today, let's see, I think our high so far is 94. I'm going to check. I have a secondary phone that does not have service, like does not have cell service on it. Our high is 95 Fahrenheit. So it's supposed to be at least 90 tomorrow here in Des Moines. And then after tomorrow, 80s up until next weekend. And here in at least central Iowa, lawn watering has been banned because of high nitrate levels in the two source rivers at the waterworks gets the water from, the Des Moines River and the Raccoon River, plus the river levels themselves are very low. But people can still water their gardens. But just watering the grass and washing cars outside at home, no go. But pools and splash pads or water features in metro area parks can be open for limited hours. The splash pad water is generally recirculated. Yeah, it appears to be that way. So the heat wave is going east. And I talked to someone up in London, Ontario, in Canada. It got up to 93 Fahrenheit there. London is in southern Ontario, south of Toronto. You know, it's pretty warm when it gets that hot up there. This is an instant iced tea, the second one. 2 weeks ago, I made this cold. This time I made it hot. Lemon flavor is more pronounced when you make it hot, but even cold, it's a very good instant tea. I like taking a drink of the apple cider after eating a bite of this cookie bar. It's got a hint of cinnamon flavor, just like the current oatmeal cookies. That's a nice touch when you have that little bit of extra flavor. It'll be a morale booster to the soldier in the field who'd have to eat it. Sorry about that. And this is the granola bar. I might take another test nibble off a corner. No flavor really. But I'm trying to avoid what could be a nut. No ingredients on the packet, so there's no way to know if there's nuts in here or if these black spots are raisins. It has no smell, doesn't smell like a granola bar, it just smells like a nothing bar. Those little test nibbles that taste like nothing. I don't want to risk that anymore. I did bring a few backup plans in case I wanted to or needed to. This was one of my backup plans, these chocolate toffee candies, because the M&Ms are toast. They smell bad, just like that chocolate covered brownie. Okay, Waffles, thanks for dropping in. Hope to see another time. But these chocolates, I had never seen these even commercially. That is the wrapper. It looks like a piece of dark chocolate, darker than a Tootsie Roll. They're soft. It's like a dark chocolate outside, a Tootsie Roll type milk chocolate flavor inside. Me either, and to find something like this in an American ration, that is proof that these ration companies are starting to step up their game a little bit by bringing in some new stuff. I do have another one of these candy packets that has a couple of Tootsie Rolls in it. But this chocolate toffee one, I thought, that might be an interesting one to check out. Maybe be worth a look online to see where these chocolates can be found. If either of these bars, or if both of these bars would not be edible, I could have either tried to open up the other pair of these, or I could have gone with This is a Soldier Fuel bar. It got a bit crushed in transit. This is the chocolate bar. This could take the place of that chocolate covered brownie bar. I never had this Soldier Fuel. I think I've had a peanut butter one a few years ago out of an IMP. No, but this is made in Virginia, Hendon, Virginia. They even have a website, soldierfuel.com. If you want to look these up. I originally brought out this American Nut Raisin Mix, from current production as a size comparison. This one is almost double the amount. The packet said for this said 100 grams, this says 66 grams. Doesn't say ounces on this one. This says 2.3 ounces. So probably about 4 ounces on that. But if I wanted to, I could open this up, but I haven't yet. And then I had brought a backup plan. Another backup plan. This is a banana nut, chocolate banana muffin top. Yeah, chocolate banana nut muffin top. And this one feels like it's busted up a bit. So I brought those as backup plans. But I may pass on those, at least on these two. Now, the main entree, you get a lot of food out of that thing. It's the same portion size as the Mountain House ones in the MCWs. I don't know what the Pro Pack, the Mountain House Pro Pack, how much that contains. I don't have any of those. I would have to go get one. But If they would bring back this Oregon freeze-dried chicken a la king recipe, I go get it. Yeah, what the heck? I opened up the Soldier Fuel bar, and it looks very much like a super thick First Strike bar. I'm going to set it right down on top of those two toffees. That tastes a lot like a First Strike bar, except not quite as dense. And it's not as sweet. A much tastier option than that funky smelling, waxy feeling brownie bar. It'd be a good alternative to this as well. The two test nibbles I got of that, like eating a chunk of particle board. I would love to have some more of those instant tea packets. Because that's some good instant tea. I like it. Now these Soldier Fuel bars are pretty good. I'm curious what other flavors they do. Now this has a lot of peanuts, but It's not too often you see filberts. That's a filbert. You don't see this in too many rations. So there's what one of the almonds looks like. Now there is a nice big piece of walnut. Again, I am not risking those. They don't smell bad, but smells can be deceiving. This is just like the experimental LRP I opened up a few months ago. The bars that were in there were not good. The main that was awesome. I would like Mountain House to bring that teriyaki rice with beef out into production, general retail. I really enjoyed that main. It would have been nice to have a little bit more beef in it, but that was really good. And this apple cider drink needs to come back into production. This instant tea needs to come back. I think both would be great morale boosters. Something different in the lineup of ration drink mixes. Definitely have to look up these chocolates. These are a definite morale booster for sure. A new candy in an American ration, that's awesome. there were candies and older rations in the, like airplane rations, lifeboat rations, but they were like charms. Or they would be like jelly bars, like what you get in French rations. Sometimes you get caramels. Those caramels that I had in that experimental LRP, or no, I think the caramels were, let's see, I have to look at this. Let's see. I think the caramels might have been the accessory in the accessory packet. I don't remember. I have to go back to the video 2 weeks ago when I opened that, and I opened both of these bags. But yeah, those caramels, they had fused together. There's no way I was going to open that. Forget it. Not going to happen. For the most part, everything that I did eat from this ration that I finished off, I really enjoyed it. It was so cool to get a hold of one of these ration cold weathers. This was on my ration bucket list for a while. And to get this chicken a la king, that was a really good entree. It rehydrated well. I just kind of eyeballed it on the water. Basically, fill the bag till the water just covers the food, then mix it up good. And having this little clip, that's what I used to close that bag up with. It would have been it's a lot easier to use that than one of those little closer things that was in an accessory packet for this ration. I have those. I just chose not to use it. The soup, I just mixed it into, I use this bowl for the soup. So I just mixed it in this bowl. It's like, yeah, it was actual Lipton cup of soup. That's what it was. It was a legit Lipton cup of soup inside of the white packet, so it was double packaged, and that's what preserved that soup mix. I ate a lot of the chicken cup of soup back in the day when I was younger. And that was the go-to thing before I started buying all the different flavors of the ramen packs. I'm glad that soup held up. And of course, I mixed up the oatmeal as well. I usually don't do the breakfast items in review. I usually tend to save them for camping trips, or if I just want something here at home. But I wanted to do that oatmeal. And just straight up as it was, it came out pretty good. But with the exception of those parts that were not edible, the cocoa mix, the one cocoa mix that opened up, the orange drink powder that I opened up, but it was not orange looking. It smelled bad. It looked like it would have made a brown drink instead of an orange drink. But this apple cider drink, awesome. Welcome, Aiden. You're looking at the little bit that is left. These two pieces of this 1995 granola bar. Very condensed. It tastes like particle board. These dark bits in here could be rancid nuts that have gone black, or could be raisins. I don't know. I'm not risking any more of that. The oatmeal cookie bar, again, same density, but still very easy to eat. Had a slight hint of cinnamon. That was a perfect bar. The chicken a la king was awesome. I finished all of that off. The nut raisin mix. Nuts have a tendency to go rancid over time. I had a test nibble of a raisin. It did not taste like raisin at all. It tasted like something had fermented and tasted like a rancid nut. So nope. Chocolate covered brownie on top of what that was M&M's down in the bottom of that cup. They both smell like something other than chocolate. Nope, not going to happen. I still have another pair of these bars. What I'll probably end up doing is opening that up, eat an oatmeal cookie bar, and then tossing the granola bar. It's just an identical pair to what this was. The cocoa powder that was in here, I mixed one. I was really wanting it to be good, but it started tasting funky, so no more of that. It had 2 of these instant lemon teas. 2 weeks ago, I made one cold. The orange drink powder was crap, so I went with the tea instead. So this time I made it hot. The coffee that was in this ration had gone to crap, so no go on that. This apple cider drink, really, really good. I have another cocoa mix. They put 2 cocoa mixes in this ration, plus I have a third one that was sent to me in a box of goodies. I have another orange drink from the same pack date as the one that was in this ration. That was sent separate. I don't know if I will open those. So I have 2 more of the cocoa powder, same pack date as the one I mixed up 2 weeks ago. I don't know if I will open those and try them, or if I will just hold on to them, keep them as is. I haven't decided on that. But for the candy tonight, instead of the M&Ms, I ripped this off, but this is the chocolate toffee. It's called Chocolates. $20 pack on those. I had never heard of this before. This would be something to look up. But apparently this is a new candy item for American Rations as of 2020. Or 21. Yeah, 2021. But even though I couldn't enjoy everything in this ration, most of it was just plain awesome. And Mountain House, if you're listening, bring this Chicken a la King entree back. Just like that teriyaki rice with beef entree from that experimental LRP I opened up a few months ago. That entree needs to come back so more people can enjoy it, because I really enjoyed that one. That one was a 95 ration, I believe. I would have to go back through my video library to look at the year on that. But that long range patrol in a brown bag, which featured the peelable seal that used to be on USMRE bags until the packaging style changed a couple of years ago. But that was an experimental menu that had a limited run. I managed to get a hold of one that was on sale. And even though I couldn't eat the bars from it, the entree from that one was just so dang good. And same with this. I would buy that Chicken a la King entree in a store or online. But this one was definitely worth the effort to trade for this. Yeah, I'm still on. And good to see you, DeCarlos. Yeah, I'm still, I'm bragging on this entree because it was that good. Yeah, the chicken a la king, as you can tell by my tray, it's gone. Some of the things in this ration I could not eat. That's what the M&Ms look like. Pretty much dust. These other bits are the chocolate covered brownie. It smells bad. The M&M dust smells the same, so nope. And this is a nut raisin mix. Almost 4 ounces of this. And the raisins are pretty much all in this clump. I took a test nibble of one of the raisins. It tastes like a rancid nut. So I'm not going to risk any more of that. But tonight it was all about this chicken a la king. So this instant lemon tea, I made the second one hot tonight. Really good. I want that to make a comeback. And this apple cider drink, that needs to make a comeback too. This granola bar tastes like particle board. And these black bits, I have no idea if they're raisins or if they're rancid nuts that have gone black. But the oatmeal cookie bar, that was in that same packet with this. That was really good. That tasted perfect. It had a touch of cinnamon, which you absolutely like. Like the newer production oatmeal cookies. I like that touch of cinnamon they put in there. I have another cocoa powder, but I don't know if it's going to be the same funkiness as the one I opened up 2 weeks ago. The coffee, I couldn't make it last 2 weeks ago because it had already gone to crap. The red packet Taster's Choice, yeah, they were notorious for going bad fast. And a lot of the brown packet ones, yeah, a lot of those went to crap too. I was really hoping that it would be a good one, but nope. So I went for one of the cocoa powders, hoping it would be good, but well, that one wasn't to be. But having the 2 tea packets, yeah, that means I could have a hot drink with tonight's meal, and that's what I did. But that chicken a la king, yeah, I just kept bragging on it. that needs to come back out into production because I would buy it. Even though I couldn't eat everything, I made a couple of substitutions. The chocolate toffees that were in this packet. That took the place of the M&Ms. The chocolate Soldier Fuel bar, which is kind of like a thicker version of a chocolate First Strike bar. So that substituted for that waxy feeling brownie bar that smelled like crap. So I ate that chocolate Soldier Fuel bar. I brought out this nut raisin mix to compare package sizes or contents to what was in the ration in this RCW. The packet's at 100 grams, no ounces. I don't know if that was an oversight or on purpose or what, but this one 66 grams or 2.3 ounces, so I would say about 4 ounces with this. So I just brought this one out in comparison. I thought about opening this one up and eating it, but I think I'll save this for another day. Now that's not dinner, that's just drink. But yeah, this is the ration I traded in one of the Facebook ration groups with Oscar Ruiz. He does not do YouTube reviews, but yes, he had a couple of these menu 2s, and he accepted my trade and said the MREs that I sent him. I don't know about the pizza, but he said that the maple flavored pork patty and Italian sausage, he said those are some of his favorite MREs. The Italian sausage is a pork sausage, so, and I don't eat pork. Like Jews, Muslims do not eat pork, so I pass on that. So I didn't mind trading those off. And I got this 1996 RCW. So I think that was an awesome trade. He got what he likes, and I got something I wanted to get. And we were both happy. Yeah, the noodles, when I took them out of the bag, they were al dente, little tiny noodle bits, but when you freeze dry something, if you make the pieces approximately the same size, then they all rehydrate equally. You don't have bits that are still dry and crunchy, but all the chicken pieces rehydrated, the vegetables rehydrated just fine. The noodles were al dente. And I think there was a hint of cheese in there. It was really, really good. And it made a mountain of food. That's why the Tupperware tray came out. Because when you get an Oregon freeze dry or Mountain House, entree, or you get a freeze-dried entree from a foreign ration, it's going to be a big old amount of food. And Plug-in Delicious, my Polish brother, and that instant lemon tea needs to come back. This apple cider drink needs to come back. That's all there is to that. This is definitely an enjoyable piece of ration history. It was awesome to be able to get into this one. Well, 2 weeks ago was the first part of this where I prepared the oatmeal, the chicken cup of soup, I opened up both of these bags. This came in 2 bags. I just used the extra items to fill out this one. This is the bag A. This would be like three of the MCWs put together in these 2 bags. I am so glad I got to get a hold of this. I wouldn't mind trying one of the other menus. But even if I don't, I got a hold of this one. So I'm a happy camper. It's a bummer I gotta toss some of this in the trash, but I'd rather do that than eat it and then pay for it in a bad way later. Let's see, next week I think I might go foreign. I have a couple of Canadian rations. I got a British ORP that's vegetarian. Or I could do my 2 goulashes back to back. I have the Polish single meal ration with goulash as the entree. And then I have the goulash US MRE. I could do what I did with Canadian rations. A Canadian ration that had the same entree as an American one. The beef ravioli. I did a comparison of those. The American ravioli against the Canadian. Canadian ravioli is better. I would take that over the American one. So I could do that with the Polish goulash, and then the week after that follow that up with the American version. As much as I do like the American goulash, I do think the Polish one is better, but I've never done them back to back. There's Mother Earth Garden Club in the house. Well, that's good. You got to have some time with the grandson. That's awesome when you get to do a family thing. Elsie is hanging out with family tonight, so that's why she's not in here. But she'll probably watch the replay later. But the main on this one did not disappoint. The chicken a la king. I just can't say enough good about it. There's enough chicken in there. Yeah, I wouldn't mind more chicken, but you know, there's a good amount of chicken in there. It all rehydrated very well. I really enjoyed the flavor. I wish Mountain House would bring that recipe back and put it out on the market. I made the instant tea hot this time. This ration had 2 packets of the instant lemon tea, so 2 weeks ago I made it cold. This time I made it hot. I had the apple cider mix in the drinking jar. That needs to come back. I really enjoyed that. This condensed granola bar, it tastes like eating particle board. And because I don't know if there are nuts in it that could be rancid, I'm not going to risk it. Some of the items I couldn't eat because they just plain gone bad. That's M&M's in the bottom of there. Yeah, they don't smell like M&M's. Neither does that chocolate covered brownie bar. They smell like funk. They don't smell like chocolate. And this is a nut raisin mix. I tasted a raisin. It tastes like it was fermented, and it tastes more like rancid nut. So that's all of that. I'm not even going to attempt any of those nuts, especially with the walnuts in there. But with this, you get almost 4 ounces compared to the 2.3 ounce version of the nut raisin mix you get in current U.S. rations. Yeah, but the chicken a la king that was in this, It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to just scarf it down, but no. I uh, I stretched it out a little bit, but it was that good. Yeah, it was a shame that this didn't have any better flavor. There's a second one of these bar pairs. So this is what the packet looked like. And this is a production date, the 342nd day of 1995. So that was just in the tail end of November of 1995. These are just vacuum sealed together, no extra wrapping. These are not individually wrapped inside this. Theirs are just loosened. They just slipped in here, vacuum sealed, and that's it. No other wrapping, no ingredients, so I have no way of knowing what's in here. This just has the info on the company that made and packed these bars. So what I'll probably end up doing, as I said earlier, later I'll probably just open this up, eat the oatmeal cookie bar, which had a touch of cinnamon like current Amory oatmeal cookies, and I really like that, and toss the granola bar because if it tastes like this one did, I don't want anything of it. But the oatmeal cookie bar, oh yeah. But I'll do that another day. But I think I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. I really enjoyed getting into this ration. Last week, again, I was not live last week because I was at a party that my mosque was hosting in a park in one of the suburbs, and I stayed there until 7, and I helped out with cleanup, and I took a look at the clouds that were coming up, and it looked like we are going to get a doozy of a storm. So that cloud's looking mean. I think we better hurry up and get cleaned up and packed up and get on out of here. So the wind was starting to pick up, and yeah, we beat it out of that park before the rain got super heavy. But by the time I got home, I was just too wiped to try to do a review. Plus, I had a fair amount of food there at the park. I had chicken shawarma for lunch, and then the food truck was doing hot dogs later, so I ate a hot dog. There was an ice cream truck there, but we had to buy the ice cream if you wanted it, and I didn't have any cash on me, but I did invite him to come to the food truck that was handing out the chicken shawarma and the hot dogs. So he got some of the chicken shawarma and he said he loved it. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. So I will think about what I will come out with next Sunday. I could either go foreign, I could go with a Canadian, or maybe I could get into a British ORP, or I could open up my Polish ration that has goulash, and then Sunday after that do the American goulash emery back to back like I did with the Canadian and American beef raviolis. So I'll think about that for next time. So I hope you come back next week and see what I got. Anyway, thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.